When we started Streamside Stories, we did it out of a need because it was the COVID summer of 2020. And we weren't allowed to meet with you people in person to do actual adventure trips. So we decided we'd take the spirit of adventure ministry and do these stories. And that was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I was a junior in college. We had just gotten back from spring break, and we knew COVID was a thing in other parts of the world, but it hadn't really settled in here yet as our reality. I was living in Michigan. I taught skiing, I worked in the dining hall at school, and was working on my degree. And we were back at school for about 3 days, and that Wednesday, things really hit home. That's when the news was like, New York is, infested, and all the other college campuses in Michigan had announced their closures before I went to my night class that evening. It was the middle of the night class that we got the email that campus was gonna be closing and we were gonna be moving to online. And when class let out, nobody knew what to do with themselves. We knew we didn't have class the next day, so we all went out to Applebee's for half-price apps. That was the most surreal moment of my life, I think. It's me and all my classmates at Applebee's watching all the sporting events on the TVs literally stop mid-game because of COVID. And the waiter going, "What is going on in the world?" And we're all like, "We're all gonna die." Actually, our lives are just over as we know it, but we'll probably live through it. And before the week was over, my job at the dining hall was no longer a thing. My job ski instructing was no longer a thing. And I was at home doing school online, which took a lot less time because we didn't know how to do online school. And I was just on my parents' couch a lot. And yeah, I remember feeling really lost. I was in the middle of fundraising to come out to Youth Dynamics in Washington, not Idaho, to do an internship that summer. And that became super unknown. Trying to raise money in that time was hard. I remember looking at my list of people to ask and like, oh, that person doesn't have a job right now. That person doesn't have a job. Their business is closed. Just not knowing what to do. And eventually, the plan changed from Washington to send me to Idaho, which is how I ended up here. And yeah, it was a time where I remember feeling a lot of chaos and unknown. I remember I was glued to my phone and watching every newscast that was posted on YouTube and reading all the Reddit forums and all that, just trying to grasp what was going on. And I remember not going to church and spiritually feeling quite empty. And that's when we get to, the lesson for today. I was in church on Sunday and talking about being near to the Lord and using the story of the Israelites in Exodus as they're wandering through the desert. The Lord had sent them out of slavery in Egypt towards the promised land. And when they were near to the Lord, things went well for them. The Lord parted the Red Sea for them. He provided manna from heaven. But when they got too focused on the chaos of their situation and the suffering it entailed, drew far from the Lord, is when they really struggled. Have the golden calf and the Lord saying, no, you just need to stay in this place for a while. And there was wars and conflict and just tears upon tears. And, when they were near to the Lord, things went well. When they were far from the Lord, it did not. And I think during those early days of COVID, I drew a lot closer to the chaos of it, much like the Israelites often did, and further from the Lord. And that's when it felt the hardest. And I was drawing nearer to the Lord. It was kind of like, oh, this is a weird time, but I feel fed into, and I can see how this time can be super formative for me and the people I'm around. So, in whatever chaos we're dealing in our lives now, I encourage you, draw near to the Lord. Let it be a time that's formative and not destructive. Thanks for joining us for Streamside Stories. Click the link to subscribe and join us for more stories and virtual adventures. This isn't the only way we want to adventure together, though. We also want to invite you to come join us for an adventure and create some stories of your own. To do so, head to www.yd.org to connect with us and our basis to start your journey today. Thanks.